All right, everyone. Welcome. It's Wednesday night. You know what that means. It's rush hour with me and the wonderful Nikki. Nikki, what's up?
Yes.
How's it going? Another week in the books? How's
Week
it going?
in the books. I just came from a work event up in North Jersey. So sitting in traffic on the turnpike. It's smoky. Looks like the apocalypse out there. So,
I couldn't see Jersey and the Statue of Liberty where my job was today. So it was like I was telling my coworkers, it was like being in actual Gotham City today, so dark and dreary, and we're just waiting for the vigilantes to come and take over the world. So we have
a vigilante to maybe come and take over the world because I don't know, this world is crazy. But we are here with you guys for another episode of Rush Hour around the league in 60 minutes or less. Fantasy football betting in season. You guys know that that's coming. But Danny, guess what division we have? I think you and I can agree on our panel tonight. One, it's going to be lit and off the rails. Two, you and I both agree, outside of the NFC East, this is both our second favorite division.
Yeah.
AFC North, baby.
It's AFC North. Whenever they're on Sunday Night Football or the Giants aren't on at home and there's an NFC North game and it's on regular TV, I'm watching that more than Red Zone. So we have a fun panel tonight. So be sure to check them out. We're going to plug all their socials, shows, and everything. But first comes to first. Nikki, take it away. Who do you want to bring on first?
Oh, you cannot have an AFC North panel without the queen of the Ravens herself, Miss Gina. Come on in. Miss Gina of course, the Ravens for us. I couldn't do it without you. She is from She Talks Football podcast. I know all about Gina and her spaces. They get wild in there. So thank you so much for coming on with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for asking me. Like, it's a pleasure. I'm looking forward to it always. And I do mean always. Ready to talk AFC North. So, yeah.
I know you are. I know you are. All right, let's get the Browns in here next. Mr. Tyler Johnson from the Faithful Dogs podcast. Come on down.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, we appreciate you coming on. I'm repping your colors for you because, I think everyone knows by now I love Joe Burrow. I got a little thing for him, but he is my fantasy quarterback, so I really.
No, he's a Browns fan, by the way.
Oh, he is? Did I get that wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Never mind. I don't have your color. Well, they're kind of the same.
It's orange. That matches the color of this hat.
Yours are
close
more
enough.
like a poopy brown color. Right?
Amen to that. Amen.
It is poopy.
I prefer the orange. I have a lot more orange than I do brown. I'll say that.
Okay, yeah, I can roll with orange. So is our Bengals panelist?
No, not yet. He's running late.
He's running a little late. Okay, all right.
Family man.
Family man, no problem. I'm going to try to fill in. All right. Also, you can't do the AFC North without the duo of Trey and Maestro from Barbershop Podcasts. Come on in, guys. What's up? It's been a minute. We haven't done a show together in a while.
Hey, first of all, appreciate you. But let's be clear. Here we go.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Here we go. Talking that smack already. Here we go already.
Here we go.
Already. Oh, hey, Nick, Danny, I appreciate you guys inviting us on. I think this is going to be a fire show. Already got it shared on our Twitter right now. So, folks, y'all want to come in and listen to a battle, this is it for you right here.
Yeah, this is going to be a battle. I appreciate you guys coming on and giving me some merch. I appreciate that. Got a nice t-shirt from you guys. I did get asked if your store was open. So did you guys get your store open?
It'll be soon. Within the next
it's coming soon.
Next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So after you guys get your Rush merch, you can head on over to Barbershop and grab their t-shirts. Very roomy. They sent me like a 3X, so I tied it up. And
hey, we resolved that. We gonna be all right. We resolved that. The season 2 coming. We got that. We got to take care of this time.
All right, season
Nikki
2.
could just give it to me. It's all
3X is crazy.
Yeah, no, I tied it up, Gina. I was like, all right, I gotta make this work, right? You gotta
One
get
thing
creative.
I gotta say, you definitely made it work. Like you did what you had to do. You made it work. So we appreciate that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like Project Runway up in this bitch. I'm Tim Gunn, making it work. All right.
There you go. There you go.
Before we start, I just want to say thank you to everybody that is in the chat. Jay, Mark B. There's a lot of Marks we know.
Yeah.
Rio's here. Of course, Darius is here, and a bunch of others. Sorry, I can't scroll all the way back up, but we see you there.
We see you. We appreciate you guys. All right, let's get started with a little NFL news. DeAndre Hopkins watch. Where is DeAndre Hopkins going? Not the Browns. Is that correct? We found out tonight. Yeah. Probably not the Browns, right?
Is that breaking news?
That's so Mary Kay. So what's interesting is Mary Kay Cabot actually has switched. She's reported for Cleveland.com. She's very well connected to Jimmy and Dee Haslam. She actually reported earlier today that Deshaun Watson still wants DeAndre Hopkins, and Hopkins could visit the Browns soon now that he's kicking off his free agent tour. And she added the Browns wrap up their 3-day mini camp on Thursday, but Hopkins could visit sometime over the next few weeks. And if all goes well, as Watson hopes, Hopkins could be a Brown by the time training camp opens July 22nd. But then just right when we were doing our show an hour ago, she also just reported, because things change pretty quickly, it looks like, even though Deshaun Watson still wants DeAndre Hopkins, it's a long shot for now, and no visit is scheduled. The Browns are not looking to add a big-name receiver at this time. So Hopkins is pretty unlikely.
Are you heartbroken?
I'm not personally, because I like our wide receiver core, and I always thought Hopkins was a long shot anyway, because we're not going to offer him the money that other teams are, and we're not as desperate for DeAndre Hopkins as the Titans are, as I think the Lions and the Patriots are. So, and if we add him, great, but it also would have meant we get rid of a young, promising receiver in Donovan Peoples-Jones probably, because he would slide down the depth chart and is a free agent at the end of the year. But also, I want to see. I think Amari Cooper is still a very strong receiver. I love Elijah Moore's potential, who I can't believe the Jets traded him. They completely misused him. Zach Wilson tried to ruin that man's career. Yeah. But you know what?
Everybody's career over there.
Absolutely. But
be real.
I'm excited. I'm excited about what we got right now. And you know what? If the money comes down at some point, I've always said it's a possibility until it's not. If his price point comes down, then I think the Browns have a motto. They're not going to go over a price point and really overpay for somebody. Andrew Berry sticks to his price. If someone wants to come for that amount of money, great. If not, he'll go look for someone else. But he's not a need for the Browns. He was more of a luxury.
Yeah. Okay, so you mean he won't pay a lot of money for everybody, but he will for a quarterback, obviously, right?
Yep.
You'll
Here we go. One Watson joke. Here we go.
I mean, if you're gonna do it for somebody, do it for quarterback, though.
Facts. I mean,
before I forget, Ace Boogie is here, so I'm gonna bring him in as well.
All right.
The combo going.
Hey,
Ace, what's going on, bro?
Hey, what's going on, people? My bad, man. A little late. I'm at my son's basketball practice, but I didn't want to miss this at all. So heading back home, but glad to join the AFC North panel for sure.
Thank you. Well, we appreciate you coming on. We're just talking about D-Hop, where he's going to land. I'm going to hold strong to NFC East, since his new agent is repping a lot of NFC East players. He did come out and say he has no interest in New England. However, there's that pesky team, Baltimore, always talking about getting someone. You guys got OBJ. I'm still a little heartbroken for that. But the fan in me wants to see Lamar and OBJ on the field together. Any chance Baltimore makes the play for Hopkins?
I'm going to say that it's a long shot, just like the Browns. I mean, obviously, we've done a lot this offseason. Hats off to EDC. He did his thing, absolutely, this offseason. So, we got OBJ. People want to say you paid, you overpaid. I don't care. We got our top 5 quarterback, finally a good wide receiver room. So, would D-Hop come in there be phenomenal? It would be. It would be absolutely extra icing on the cake, right? That extra cherry on a sundae with some more bananas cut up in your banana split, maybe a little extra caramel, and fun. When you request extras, some more sprinkles would not be mad at it. But I am not expecting that. And if we don't, I will not be disappointed. So I don't have that expectation. We've done a lot. We have a lot to work with. Finally, you know, we're going to be out of that wide receiver room purgatory. People trying to slam us on spaces. Why won't y'all
slow down? Slow down. Is his knee good? Is his knee good? Slow down. He good? Is he okay?
And I should be. I'm excited. So yeah. So it's a long shot. If it happens, just go ahead and hand us the Lombardi. But if it doesn't, I will not be surprised.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We'll be fine with it. Yeah.
All right. Oh, Trey.
But I'll add to that too.
Yeah, go ahead. I know. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me add to that. So DeAndre Hopkins is looking for Odell Beckham money. I'm really convinced of that.
Yeah.
I mean, $15 million for 1 year. And I don't think that the teams that are real true contenders have that much cap space. The ones that really got all the space, you're looking at the Falcons, the Bears, and teams like that aren't, you know, Super Bowl contenders. The Titans, I'll throw them in there as well. So I'm with Miss Gina. I doubt that we're going to get DeAndre Hopkins, but God, if the Ravens sign him, let's go. Let's do it.
And just to correct that, the contract is $15 million, but that includes incentives. It was actually only about 11, and so it was only about 3.62 that hit the books. So,
if you guys get Rashad Bateman back, then you really have a wide receiver core. I love Rashad Bateman personally. I wanted the Browns to draft him in the first round, even though we took Greg Newsome. We didn't need a receiver at the time. Bateman's a good player if he can stay healthy. That's the biggest thing, though, for the Ravens is your guys at wide receiver are just decimated by – I mean, your receiver core last year, I couldn't name 2 or 3 receivers after all your players got hurt. That was just a rough situation all the way around.
I don't think Trey could either.
But at least we got to the playoffs, Miss Gina, right?
Absolutely. Can't say that for 2 people.
We got
right
there.
Now.
All right, Ace.
Exactly.
I know you guys don't need any wide receiver help there in Cincinnati, right? But would you take D-Hop if the money's right?
I mean, D-Hop would just be insanity if they let D-Hop come to our team as well. It would be crazy. I know he was on a cruise with Jamar Chase and C. Higgins, but I think that's the only room that they're going to be going forward. I don't know if it would happen with us for sure.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, I don't know if you could see us, but I'm a diehard Giants fan, but I got a thing for Joe Burrow. I got your Bengals colors on. I'm rocking the orange and black tonight. We got a question from Mark. How much of OBJ's incentives are likely to be achieved? Baltimore, want to jump in on this?
You want to tackle that one first?
Yeah, I think what's going to happen. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Miss Gina. So I think what's going to happen here, Odell Beckham, to me, in my opinion, is going to be the possession receiver, and I think Rashad Bateman is going to be the guy that's going to fly down the field and catch the deep balls. I don't know what those incentives are per se, but I would imagine it's maybe 1,000 yards receiving to achieve that. I don't know that he gets 1,000 yards in this offense.
Nope.
So I'm going to say that there's a dissent amongst us Ravens fans because I think there is a possibility of him getting that. I mean, it's not like we haven't had 2,000-yard pass catchers before. We just did it a couple years ago with Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown. 2,000-yard pass catchers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously I use that because Mark is a tight end. So I do think that it is absolutely possible, especially moving to more of a spread offense, right? We're going to be passing the ball more than what we probably ever did under Greg Roman. I don't see any reason why we could not have at least 2,000-yard pass catches this season, and OBJ could be one. Now, I will say, Lamar has said in the presser, he calls Rashad Bateman wide receiver 1. He calls him that. So I'm taking Lamar's word for it. If he's calling him wide receiver 1, he's wide receiver 1. But I still think that, you know, and so it's a little touchy, right? Because Mark Andrews is definitely going to get his, but I think it is possible.
All right, good stuff. I want to move on to the second piece of news. I just want to get your guys' opinion real quick. It looks like the NFL is having a really hard time finding a team for Hard Knocks. No one is interested.
I was going to ask you that the other day.
Yeah, I'm just going to run down. So a team does not have to do Hard Knocks if the following 3 rules apply. They have a first-year head coach. They've had a playoff berth in the past 2 seasons. They've appeared on Hard Knocks in the past 10 years. So that leaves us, unless the team volunteers, that leaves us with the Jets, Bears, Saints, and Commanders. Now, I know everyone's like, oh, the Jets are the shoe-in. That's what we want to see. But it doesn't seem like the Jets want anything to do with it. Who would you guys, Maestro, who would you want to see out of the 4 of them?
The Commanders. 100%.
Yeah?
I mean 100%.
Really?
All the off season, obviously the team, what's the boy? He gone now. The owner's gone.
Snyder.
Snyder. I don't even remember him. I want him gone so
Dan
bad. I don't
Snyder.
even he gone. I don't even remember him no more. So yeah, definitely the Commanders. Whatever you believe about Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett, it should definitely be the Commanders, because one thing we know about Washington, me being a DC native, is that the Commanders, or the Redskins as I know, I'm still trying to get Redskins out off my vocabulary.
Yeah, me too.
We're going to find some way to make it interesting. We're going to find a way. History proves that we find something. I mean, just today, I was having a conversation with somebody about how now, you come in months ago, say Sam Howell's your number 1. A month later, now we're talking about Jacoby Brissett might be, but he might be number 1, and I don't know. And it's all this crazy. Commanders.
I mean, you guys like resounding Commanders.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't say Commanders.
Yeah, no, you didn't. But
I agree with Mark. Did you see Mark said it's a big distraction? I agree with Mark when he said that.
It is.
I wouldn't want it. I definitely wouldn't want it. I think there is definitely an appeal, right, for the Commanders to do it. They have the storyline. We all know Hard Knocks is about storyline. So the Commanders absolutely have a storyline there with the new ownership, with Eric Bieniemy coming over there, and so all kind, and Ron Rivera. Is there a lot of even storylines with him and all he's been through? Rest in peace to his mom and all that kind of stuff. So there are a lot of stories. What's the guy Robinson who got shot in his leg? His last name Robinson, who running back.
Brian Robinson.
So there are a lot of storylines, that can kind of come into play there. So I understand that. Obviously, the Jets would be an obvious one. You got Aaron Rodgers. You got not only Aaron Rodgers, but he basically got to sign the people that he wanted. I believe that Jets team will be doing something. I still think people are underestimating them. I would actually love to see it, but I completely understand why they would not want to do it. The Saints, I'm intrigued by the Saints. I was intrigued by the Saints last year. Things didn't kind of fall out the way I thought it would for that team. But again, they were hampered by injuries severely. So that derailed their season. So, and what was the 4th team?
So we have
the Bears, I think.
Bears.
Oh, the Bears
are one of them.
I would
Bears.
love that for the Bears, but I don't want it for
Bears
the Bears.
ain't interesting.
I want them to be able to.
No.
I actually am a fan of Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I like what they've done in this offseason, right? Because I was going to be looking at them real side-eye if they did not come and try to put a team around Justin Fields. So I'm super interested in seeing what they do this season. So I would not want it for them for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think the Commanders would be fun. I was sending Nikki the article. Pro Football Focus just had the article that the Commanders are looking like the deal is going to be done by July. So that'd be just in time, right before Hard Knocks. So that's perfect. Like we mentioned before, that's obviously going to be the biggest storyline behind Hard Knocks if they were to be the team picked. So
that's just way more. That's way more sexy than the other candidates. It's just
100%.
Maybe the Jets with Rodgers, but we've seen the Jets already. I don't know.
Yeah,
we don't need to see
we have. We've seen the Jets. All right, interesting. So we will see. All right, let's quickly touch on how everybody felt about their, first round draft pick. Ace, let's start with you. You guys went and grabbed Myles Murphy out of Clemson. I mean, this team's just getting better and better and better. Are you guys hyped for this?
Oh, for sure. I think one of the issues with the Bengals last year, even though we like our defense, if I'm being honest, the pass rush left a lot to be desired. We only had about 29 to 30 sacks last season. So Myles Murphy was much needed because we really just had Trey Hendrickson Sam Hubbard's a decent player, but he's more of an elite run stopper, more so than a pass rusher. So it definitely was needed to be added in the room with Joseph Osai. And getting a guy that was mocked in like the top 15 for the most part, I never thought we'd even have a chance at Myles Murphy. So I do love the pick for us to attack the edge rusher and get the best player available, especially when you're picking late in the draft.
Yeah, no, I think you guys, that was a phenomenal pick there. I'm excited for you guys. I got to contain the fan in me, but I'm excited for you guys. All right, Tyler. I mean, you guys didn't pick till like round 3, right? Because you had to sell your soul to Deshaun Watson, right? Talk to us about Cedric Tillman. You guys like him? You guys excited? Any concerns there?
I'm pretty excited about Cedric Tillman. What's kind of funny is when he was, because we were actually live for the draft, that was being live for 12 hours really will change you if you've never done it before. But when he was drafted, we were kind of surprised because Andrew Berry likes to stick to guardrails. He doesn't draft players over a certain age at certain points in the draft. You get to the 3rd round, there were some wide receivers that were available that we really liked personally, like our group. We liked Josh Downs out of North Carolina. He was a big one. I believe Marvin Mims went a couple picks before that the Browns were interested in. The Browns liked Jalen Hyatt. I know that, and I have a feeling when the Giants traded up, he was going to be the pick for the Browns originally. But we'll never know the answer to that. But I just find that interesting. But Cedric Tillman coming out of Tennessee, if it wasn't for an ankle injury, he's probably not even there. He could have been a late 1st, early 2nd round pick. Mm-hmm. He absolutely destroyed Alabama and Georgia single-handedly when he was healthy. He was a 1,000-yard receiver not last year, but the year before. He had a broken ankle that he suffered and then still came back to play even after Tennessee didn't have a chance at the college football playoff, which he didn't have to do. So I'm personally excited about Cedric Tillman. He's probably going to be the future Donovan Peoples-Jones replacement because the Browns are going to have to make a decision there on extending DPJ because I just think he's going to be too expensive, and you still have Amari Cooper on the roster making $20 million a year. So they're going to have to make some decisions. Cedric Tillman already has looked really good in camp. He's gotten a lot of rave reviews. He is the biggest receiver the Browns have on the roster. So I think he's going to be a really good red zone target. You can already see him developing chemistry with Deshaun Watson. So even though we didn't pick until the 3rd round, a lot of Browns fans, including myself, are pretty happy with that selection because we think if he doesn't play a huge role this year, he could end up playing a huge role for us in the near future.
Right. And that's what you hope for too, right? Of course, you guys want these guys to come in and make immediate impact, but you got to think of it long-term too. Speaking of long-term, Broderick Jones out of Georgia over there for the Steelers. You guys needed this, right? You absolutely needed this. You guys happy? Steeler Nation's happy over there?
Steeler Nation appears to be happy. I will admit, just me, Maestro. I wanted somebody who was a little more technically sound, but as far as dog, Broderick Jones is a 100% dog. So he got a little coaching to do. We got a little coaching up to do. But one thing I know about my team and my organization is that, unlike some others on this panel,
he'll be an all-pro by next year.
Yeah, my coach know how to coach.
Who are you firing these shots at? Say it to me.
He's firing them at Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah,
I already know.
Yes. I mean, look. I'm not necessarily at Kevin Stefanski. I'm just being a little facetious. I'm just throwing it to whoever catch it, then it's for you. But,
all right, well, it's Tyler.
But for certain, he's a dog. We got a little coaching to do for him. But I trust my coach. I trust my staff. He'll be fine. We'll be just fine.
Yeah. How do you not trust, Mike Tomlin after all this time? It's just he's one of the best coaches that we've seen. All right, Baltimore. You guys grab my guy Zay Flowers.
He called a timeout.
1 second. You guys grab my guy Zay Flowers.
Flag on the play.
And I love Zay Flowers, but I wanted the Giants to get him. My concern was that Baltimore or the Vikings were going to come and swoop in and grab him, and they did. That's okay. I mean, listen, we got Deontay.
You mean swooping, Nikki? It was our pick. Y'all were trying to trade up to swooping in front of us.
I know. We're trying. But we got Banks, Maryland kid. We're happy for that.
Y'all swooped in and got him, huh?
I know you did swoop in and get him, but I know he had a little tweak, a little injury, right? So, but other than that, it looked like that he didn't practice. I think, was it yesterday? He didn't practice for you guys. You have to be excited. Baltimore's getting loaded over there. We'll wrap this up and then we'll go to Danny because he's gonna, flag on the play for me. I know I'm getting a penalty for not having clock integrity. I know.
Go ahead, ladies first.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, we are absolutely ecstatic. Like literally, when I watch anything with Zay Flowers, he's smiling, I'm smiling. He's smiling, I'm smiling. I'm smiling every time I see Zay Flowers. Like, let's be honest, and it's not just because he has $1 million smile, which he does, right? But it's the expectations that I have for him on the field is what we're hearing about him. I mean, we're hearing that he is a straight up, like, insert the X-ray of the chest dog. So we're really excited to have another dog on the field in that space. And the way he was used, despite his size, right, I'm always excited, and I think about Steve Smith, who was one of my favorite wide receivers. He's on our team for a while, just dog. And so I get that same thing from Zay. Steve Smith Sr. is actually a big fan of his. And the more I see clips and stuff of him and Steve talking and all the things that Steve says about him, I just get more and more excited. The things that I'm hearing about in OTAs, they're coaching him very hard. Like, they're not going easy on him. They're coaching him very hard. He's going to be used all over the field. So I'm looking forward to some people are saying, no, just put him in the slot. No. That's not what he did. The majority of his reps were on the outside. Correct. And they called him a movable player. You can move him all over the field. So I'm looking forward to him being used like that. Let me turn it over to you.
So me and Maestro made predictions for the draft, and I said I wanted Zay Flowers. This was a day or two before the draft. I said I wanted Zay Flowers, and sure enough, we got him with the first pick. I've watched some of this guy's college tape. The dude's got hops. He can fly. Yeah. I'm very excited and happy about the pick. I can't wait until these preseason games get going, into the regular season, and really see what this guy can do. Now, I know there's been some criticism about his height. There have been comparisons to Hollywood Brown. But Hollywood, as good as he was for us, he don't have the hops that Zay Flowers do. So I'm really excited about this kid, and I hope it works out for him.
Yeah, you guys should be. You should be. All right, Danny, I know you want to give me a penalty. Go ahead.
No penalty. I just wanted to hear Maestro before I did the plug what he thought about Joey Porter Jr., especially since he's a legacy there. And
absolutely. Well, if I'm being honest, because I got to be honest here, I wanted the kid from Maryland, Deontay Banks, who the Giants got. That's who I wanted. If I'm just being honest, I knew once we didn't draft him and we got Broderick Jones that we were going to end up with him day 2, first pick. We was going to end up with Joey Porter Jr. I get it. My team, we love family, we love nostalgia, we love those types of things. So one thing I will say, I know who his daddy is, as the rest of y'all well know who his daddy is.
Yeah, we know.
So I think he'll be coached up. I know Joey Porter don't work for Pittsburgh no more. They're gonna find a way to slide him back in. They're gonna find a way to slide him back in. They're gonna find a way to slide him back in. It feels weird
not seeing him on the sideline.
Absolutely does. And honestly, he deserves.
Where's he at right now?
He's chilling. That's what he's doing. He's literally chilling. Because you remember a couple years back, he got into some, he hopped on the field.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
They fired him behind all that. So, he bring his son in. Yeah, bring his daddy in. It's going to be good. And Joey Porter, he a little slow, but he tackles. That he going in. I won't make this a long diatribe. We are getting dogs. That's what Pittsburgh is doing. We have made a conscious effort to get dogs. So I'm with it.
But are they going to take that step forward? Right? Because the 9 wins isn't going to cut it anymore.
Are we ready?
Not in this division. It's not.
Yeah, save it.
Okay, because you almost lit the match.
I want to light the match. Go ahead, go. We'll have
I looked at this.
Say it with your chest, man.
Yeah.
13 wins this year.
13.
Pittsburgh,
Oh, we didn't get the bold
this
prediction
year.
yet. Hold on.
This year.
Whoa. Slow
This
down.
This is the best part.
You handed me
This is
the
the best
clip.
part.
If
This
you
is where he
hand me
gets
the clip-
emotional. This is
If
where
you
he
hand
gets
me-
emotional.
no, if you hand me
is
the
a clip.
clip, I'ma shoot 13 wins this year. Get 13 wins this year.
Kenny
All right.
Pickett's MVP then, huh?
Hey, we
13.
going.
Okay.
We
13.
got punched.
So
And I'll give a short reason why I feel this way.
go ahead.
Cincinnati and Cleveland, they too pretty. Only people I'm worried about in the division is Baltimore.
Is that,
You said they're too pretty.
it's
They're
too
too
pretty.
pretty.
I
They're
mean,
all
Joe
pretty.
The water
Burrow
in
is
Pittsburgh.
pretty.
Somebody check the water in Pittsburgh. I don't know.
It's pretty. Said Joe Burrow. Hey, Joe Burrow might have had the flyest jacket in years. When he came in with that jacket a couple years ago. That boy, he pretty. All these wide receivers, I get it. Y'all I gotta give y'all respect right now. Cause it's the off season. Y'all doing y'all thing. But y'all pretty. Y'all when we start hitting people in the mouth, when people start getting hit in the mouth, they start acting a little different. That's for Baltimore, Cleveland, and Cincinnati. And we punching people in the mouth this year. 13 wins. Let's go.
Hey,
Here
Miss
we go.
Gina, we got some dogs on our squad too, right?
Absolutely.
I believe you do. Let me just ask everybody. Hold on a second. Hold on. Is it fair to say Steeler fans are like the Cowboy fans of the NFC East? Because we did this NFC East panel, and the our rep was like, for the Cow, they're like, oh, they're winning the Super Bowl, as if there's no other option. Oh, we're winning the Super Bowl. That's
Hey.
it. Like no other option. So 13 wins. You're smacking people. Not worried about this division.
Here's the other thing. Nobody think we gonna be good.
Well, that's not
No,
true.
you're gonna
That's not
be
true.
you're gonna
Nobody-
be the Steelers.
That's not true.
Come on.
Nine
You're-
nine
You guys are
wins.
good every year.
Pittsburgh
Okay.
gets
Palmer, you
Pittsburgh
guys
gets
are good
9
every
wins.
year.
Yeah, but that's not good. What are we talking about? That's not good.
But you're making
Well,
it sound
it's
like
a winning
they're saying
season.
they're a 4-win team.
It's a winning season technically.
It's a winning season, bro.
I'm not
Okay,
used to what that really is.
That's what
so.
Tomlin do. He gets winning
This
season.
is something. Hold on. Oh, okay, I get it because y'all haven't been a winning franchise this long. There's something called pedigree, and when
Who
you got
hasn't been a winning
pedigree,
franchise?
when you got
Baltimore?
pedigree, when you're talking about pedigree,
No, the
6
Browns.
rings,
The Browns.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
when
I
we
get
talking
it. Go
about
ahead.
6 rings, we talking about something called pedigree that we've been a franchise for a long time. We've been winning for a long time. 9 wins don't cut it for Steelers fans.
We feel
So
you.
no,
We
that's
feel
not
you.
good. So that's not
Okay.
good.
Not good.
But you're making it sound
Okay.
like we're saying they're going to be a 5-win team when
No,
we're not saying that.
nobody's saying that.
But you are
nobody's
certainly,
saying five.
but I'm sure consensus wise, everybody believes that we're going to be 3rd or 4th.
Third.
Okay.
I have no idea. I personally think our division is wide open.
And you
right
can still
now.
get 9 wins.
Yeah.
True. I mean, we've seen the
Fourth-place team can still
Steelers
get 9
just
wins.
make it into the playoffs by some
Mm-mm.
crazy things happening, and they just make it in. Like, I mean, I don't think anybody here is going
They
to
just
say,
find a way.
oh,
They always find a way.
always find a
13,
way.
They do.
13
They always find a way.
wins.
They always find a way, but finding your way to 13 wins with Kenny Pickett is wild. I don't know.
That's wild. That is why.
If
Well,
y'all
Yeah.
If Ben was there, if Ben was still there with that defense and the weapons and everything, I could see it. But not.
Nah, Ben's
I gotta
trash
look
now.
for-
He was trash his past 2 years. He was trash his past 2 years. Ben
Oh,
was
yeah.
trash.
all
Yeah,
right.
he was trash. his past 2 years. He was trash. Like,
He was. Well, he was getting old, and we could see.
yeah,
it,
right. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Peyton
That's not
Manning,
shade. That's not shade.
you don't. I mean,
That's
it
not
wasn't
shade.
Maestro, if Ben was trash, what is Kenny Pickett? I gotta know.
He on his way. On his way.
on his way to
On
trash.
his way. No, on his way. We saw flashes last year.
Yeah,
he
we definitely
started-
saw a couple of comebacks towards the end.
we saw flashes last year.
All right. Yeah, we see a little
And
bit.
let's
Hey,
be clear. I'm sorry.
No,
Let's be
go
clear.
ahead, go ahead,
With no offensive line, last year, offensive line was trash. That means the running game was trash most of the time last year. I see all that changing this year.
Okay. All right. Well, we already got our bold prediction from you. Ace, let me ask you. So the Bengals secondary, you guys ranked 23 in the league last season in passing yards allowed. And instead of re-signing Bates, Bell, and Apple, the team just decided we're going to go with the younger replacements, right? Is that going to pay off for you guys? Are you concerned? I know in the long run it will, but what about this season coming up?
Yeah, I think it was an open secret that Jesse Bates was pretty much going to be going away. I think the biggest shock for most Bengals fans was really Von Bell. A lot of people expected us to bring Von Bell back, but we drafted Dax Hill in the first round for a reason. The Bengals usually do this. They'll draft a replacement a year before. They'll let them learn under the player and then replace them. I really actually like what they did in the secondary. It's definitely going to be something to be desired and that you have to see first, because Jesse Bates was a good player. Von Bell, I think, was extremely underrated. But the one thing I think that they did is that they added athleticism. So, like, Dax Hill is a guy that's more of a Swiss Army knife. You can play him at free safety. You can play him at nickel. He can play on the outside. He's super athletic. He's also kind of a ball hawk as well. And then you also brought in Nick Scott, who's more of an unknown, which I was uncomfortable with, to be honest with you, because I'm like, I don't even know who Nick Scott is. Who is this guy? He's replacing Von Bell. And then that's when they made my favorite pick in the draft, was drafting Jordan Battle out of Alabama, the safety, who I think is the perfect replacement for Von Bell. And then they go and get a DJ Turner as well that runs a 4.2, which we desperately needed in the secondary for a legit corner. Eli Apple was serviceable, but he was by no means the answer to be out there.
Trash.
So the fact that they were able to do that, you added Sidney Jones. I like what they did with the secondary, but I'm expecting them to kind of have some communication issues early on. But I think in the long run, they got way more athletic, and they kind of upgraded from an athleticism standpoint. The skill standpoint will be, we just have to see, because Cheeto's coming off of an injury. You had Cam Taylor-Britt last year, who really took some steps, especially in the playoffs against Stephon Diggs. So I'm excited about the secondary's future, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I still feel like they have to prove that they were able to replace a Von Bell and a Jesse Bates.
All right, that's fair. So I like that's a very measured, reasonable approach there. Tyler, what are we getting at Deshaun Watson this year?
You're going to get a guy that has already proven he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, like he was in Houston. When any NFL player, regardless if it's Watson, if Pat Mahomes didn't play for 2 years and then missed 11 games the previous year and came back, he'd be rusty too. Keep in mind, Deshaun Watson had to learn a brand new offense. He comes in basically with 2 weeks of practice, and he has to try and lead the Browns to the playoffs. I never expected the Browns to go to the playoffs last year. I know a lot of fans were like, oh, Watson's going to come back, going to lead us to the playoffs, so on and so forth. It was never going to happen because you're going to be rusty coming back from that situation. You can already see there, and again, it's clips. You don't want to get too hooked in it because they're not hitting yet. But Watson looks night and day better compared to what he did last year. You can already start to see it. And he's got they've added plenty of weapons around him. You add Elijah Moore, who is going to be a huge addition to this offense. Yeah. You bring back Amari Cooper, of course. You draft Cedric Tillman. You bring in Marquise Goodwin, who's a very underrated addition. It's going to be that deep threat that Browns fans expected Anthony Schwartz to be, but that hasn't worked out. You bring in Jordan Akins, his former teammate with Houston, who he has chemistry with. He's playing behind one of the best offensive lines in the league. And, of course, playing with the best running back in the NFL and Nick Chubb. Yeah. Deshaun Watson's going to be a top 10 quarterback in 2023. I'm not concerned about it whatsoever because I know what he was in Houston, and I know that any NFL player in that same situation would be rusty too because you're trying to match the speed of the game when everyone else has already been playing all year long. So,
and a year and a half off too, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not worried about personally. I think he's really gonna step up, and I think he's gonna lead the Browns to the playoffs this year. Really do.
Oh, all right, more bold predictions.
And Jacoby Brissett wasn't good enough to keep y'all afloat.
Right.
Yeah, I love. Hey, listen though.
Don't shoot at Jacoby Brissett. That wasn't nice,
dude. I seriously love Jacoby. Like I do. I wish.
Come on, Maestro.
Like he was awesome. He was a great team leader here, and I hope he succeeds in Washington. If he beats out Sam Howell, I hope he succeeds.
Oh, no, don't say that. His head's gonna explode. He's a big Sam Howell. He's wearing his t-shirts all the time on Instagram. All right, before we move to some fantasy football talk, I need to know if we're getting a full healthy season out of Lamar Jackson. And this will lead us into fantasy football. Are you confident drafting? Obviously you are, but are you gonna get a full season out of Lamar?
Trey, can I jump in? Nikki, can we just say this? What we're not going to do on this podcast, Nikki, Danny, Trey, Tyler, Maestro, is just sit here up on this here podcast and say, I see comments from Mark and different people. Oh, it's the Bengals by a mile. Oh, they definitely gonna win.
Yeah, I saw it too.
I'm gonna need y'all to slow your roll right
it.
now. You know, at the end of the day, you know, this is what I was told in Spaces. Vegas has us favorited. Whoop-de-doo. I personally don't go by Vegas, but what I can do is look at these teams, how all of these teams got better, and what were their specific things, right, that hindered the Ravens from going further than what they did. Let's not, and I'm not saying the Bengals don't have a chance to win the division. I'm not saying that at all. Obviously, they have a good team. They brought their team back. They're minus some people, right? But we all lose some people. You bring some other people. But in my opinion, and I'm still going to stand on it, this division is wide open. I feel like the entire AFC North got significantly better, including the Browns, including the Steelers, who you can never count out the Steelers.
No.
But you can never count out the Steelers. And I think the Browns did a very good job this season, right, with pieces that they brought on. And Deshaun, like you said, you know, he should be able to get back in the rhythm, back in the swing, have another full off season. Like, I expect him to play better. I do. So I think it will be a challenge. The AFC North is a bloodbath. I always have the issue with people who's like, oh, it's just going to be the Bengals by a mile. Nobody else got to
right.
Nah,
Well, Danny, I think that's how we feel with the NFC East.
Cut that out.
The 2 years that Lamar went down, we were leading the entire AFC in a lot of those games, not just the North, but the entire AFC before he got injured in some of those
the conference.
Yes, we were leading in the entire conference. Like, injuries has just wreaked havoc. Don't act like one of our major issues that we had was we had an OC who did not want to pass the ball consistently, open up our, get our wide receivers open, spread the ball. Like, we had issues with that. Let's not act like we did not have the third from the bottom ranked wide receiver room in all of the NFL. Not just, and we went and addressed all this stuff, and people just going to say, we got our quarterback back, got some wide receivers, got an OC who's going to come and open up the offense on our team, and we just sitting here like we come on, y'all, just stop playing.
It's the disrespect for you, right, Gina?
Look, let's be clear. Let's be clear. If J.K. Dobbins or Gus Edwards gets the ball at the goal line in Cincinnati in the playoffs,
we have a different conversation.
100%.
We having a different conversation. Yeah, we having a different conversation.
Are we having a different conversation if the Bengals line stayed healthy? I think we'd be having a different conversation there as well.
That's true too.
Yeah.
If y'all want me to be objective, yes, then absolutely. That's
100%. And we didn't lose QB1 also. So there are all kinds of factors that go in here, right? You know what I'm saying?
That's fact. I agree.
Using Tyler Huntley to win you a playoff game just isn't going to happen.
It's just not going to work.
Last year too. That was very weird too.
Well, let me ask you, actually, and Trey, you brought it up. So let me ask you, we'll segue into fantasy. J.K. Dobbins, can we trust him to finish inside top 30 fantasy producers? What do you think?
In top 30? Like no overall. Matter the position? Top 30?
Overall.
That's going to be a stretch. That's going to be a stretch because this offense, I think, is going to be more pass heavy than it is going to be run heavy. So, and historically, for about the last, I'd say 5-6 years, they've been running the ball using running back by committee. There's never been that one guy that kind of takes the bulk of the load when it comes to the backfield for the Ravens. So Gus Edwards is going to get some of those carries. Justice Hill is going to get some of those carries. So I don't see J.K. Dobbins, being in the top 30.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. I stashed him last year, and I unfortunately never got to use him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I had him. He got hurt, and I was like, J.K. Dobbins, you're killing me here.
I love J.K. Dobbins.
Let me ask you, Ace, is Tyler Boyd, is he going to be pushed down the depth chart? Right? Because you guys drafted 2 wideouts. What are you thinking in terms of fantasy for Tyler Boyd? I know he's reliable, but are we going to get the production out of him?
I think with Tyler Boyd, you're kind of taking a chance. Like I don't see him getting unseated at all. He's still a very important part of the offense, but he's more of a team player. Like he'll take the 2 to 3 targets a game, where Jamar is going to get the 10, T's going to get the 8. So I wouldn't hitch my wagon to Tyler Boyd in fantasy. If you're going for a Bengal in fantasy, you got to go with Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. Those guys for sure, they're going to get the targets all the time. Tyler Boyd will have a game every now and then where he's the feature and goes off, but it's not going to be majority of the time. It's not going to be consistent.
I agree with that, Ace.
Gotcha. Maestro, Najee Harris, is his production going to drop a little bit? Because it seems like the Steelers are going to put more on the arm of Kenny Pickett.
Nah, I think it's gonna go up. I think it's gonna go up. I think it's going up.
Yeah, if he's getting 13 wins, he knows he's getting.
Yeah, it's going up. Oh no, it's going up. Yeah, it's going up. It's going up.
Very nice.
Yeah,
He's pulling a sling.
Let's be clear. Najee Harris was not 100%. He wasn't 100% last year. The offensive line wasn't that good last year. It's going up. He didn't start turning on until like late in the season. That's not happening this year.
All right. So it's going up. Everybody's stock is up. And Najee
Draft him.
What about Kenny Pickett?
Kenny Pickett is. Because obviously he'll be better because he didn't play. You know, he didn't play. You know what I'm saying? Right. He'll have more. He had the entire off season. Yeah, it's going up. I'm telling you. I'm not saying he's gonna be a top 10 fantasy quarterback. That's not what I'm saying. But he is going up.
All Steelers players are going up. All right. Is Elijah Moore a sleeper?
Yeah. Okay. I would buy Elijah Moore every single place that you can get him because I'm gonna say this. I haven't even said this on our show because at some point I'm going to. I really believe Elijah Moore will lead the Browns in targets this year. I really do. They're using him out of the backfield. I've already seen plenty of highlights. They're using him out of the backfield with Nick Chubb in the backfield. So they're using him a ton. They're going to use him in the slot. They're going to use him outside. And so far, he has been Deshaun Watson's favorite target just from, again, like a lot of reporters have been posting clips. The majority of passes are going to Elijah Moore. He is going to be Deshaun Watson's favorite target. I'd go get him because I think he is going to fall in a lot of drafts because everyone's like, Amari Cooper, Nick Chubb. Will Deshaun Watson get back to the quarterback he was? Go get Elijah Moore, and I think he can start for your team. I really do, especially in PPR formats. He is going to be a very good player, and he's going to make the Jets regret trading him.
He had moments his rookie year. So.
Absolutely.
All right, Danny, before we move on to bold predictions, do you have any other fantasy questions for the AFC North panel? Anything else?
Of course, we didn't talk about the Ravens. Other than Andrews.
We talked about J.K. Dobbins.
We did talk about J.K., but like obviously Andrews is one of the top tight ends in the league. So other than him, where do you think between Zay, if Bateman stays healthy, and Odell, where do you lean towards those three guys to be looking forward to?
Go ahead,
either Trey or Gina.
Go ahead, Trey. I'll come behind you on that one.
Ladies first. Okay.
Such a gentleman.
If I had to pick a guy that comes in second behind Mark Andrews, you know what? I'm gonna go Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, you guys.
I'm gonna go Rashad Bateman to be the next guy. Yeah, I really like him. He's just got to get rid of the injury bug. We've seen what he can do when he's healthy on the field. So that's my guy.
Lamar said he's wide receiver one, like I referenced earlier. So I do think as far as the wide receivers, I expect him to get a high number of the targets. He loves going to Rashad. I don't think OBJ coming in is going to push him down. I don't.
All right. Interesting. Well, we have a question from Darius, and this will lead into our bold predictions. He wants to know from the panel, who do you think will be the biggest surprise in the AFC North? And after you guys kick that off, let's go bold predictions. Let's just go for it. Who's winning the division? How many games you got winning? Let's go.
I think the Browns are going to surprise everyone in the AFC North. I really do. On paper right now, we have, and again, we're the paper champions this offseason for sure.
Yeah.
On paper, we have a top 10 roster. It's just, can Kevin Stefanski put it all together and lead this to wins? And Kevin Stefanski's record in the AFC North, He is 7-2 in the AFC North at home. Against the AFC North, he is 2-7. Now that's 9-9. But if you would have told me 4 or 5 years ago, I'd have a head coach with a 500 record in the AFC North, I would absolutely take it because I had Hugh Jackson as my head coach. So, like, I really do think the Browns are going to surprise some people, and I think it's going to be because of Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is going to determine how far the Browns go.
All right. Okay. So we think the Browns might be the big surprise. Guys, who's winning this division? If you had to guess now, I know. My show, you got 13 wins. Steelers are right.
Here we go. Here we go.
This is like the NFC East, Nikki.
I know.
I think the Bengals might set AFC North history, man. I think we might end up taking it 3 times in a row. But I think the surprise will be the Steelers. I honestly do think the Steelers will surprise and do a lot better. I think Baltimore is going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. I think this is coming down to like the last couple of weeks of the season for sure.
Probably the last.
In that Week 17
So
game.
it won't be history. The Steelers have actually won 3 times in a row in the past.
In the past, yeah.
So you won't be
in the AFC.
Well, it'll be history for the Bengals.
It will definitely be history for the Bengals.
And it actually
It'll be history for the Bengals.
I looked it up the other day. Since 1997, no team in our division has three-peated. Since 1997.
Was that the AFC Central or was that the AFC North?
Combination of looking at both from the Central over to the North. But at the end of the day, obviously, I'm calling for the Ravens to win the division. Personally, I believe the Ravens did not win the division for the last 2 seasons simply because of injuries, and we left. Our quarterback wasn't there.
That's fair to say.
And I just want to see, everybody was like, injuries, all teams get injured. But let's be honest, the Bengals was the healthiest team out of our division last season, right? Not that they did not have injuries, because they did. All of our teams had injuries. But coming out of our division, it's basically going to be who's the healthiest. Whoever, because any of our teams can make a go of it.
Right.
Like, let's just be honest about this. Any of our teams can make a go of it. It's really going to come down to health and obviously performance, right? But I feel confident going into this season.
Sure.
I don't expect my quarterback to get hurt. And if Lamar is able to play the entire season, absolutely we can win the division. Come on now.
I'll say that Week 17 game in Cincinnati could really come down to that could be one for the division. I mean, every game in this division is going to be absolutely nuts, and these guys are going to tear into. There's no team in this division that's going undefeated in the division.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, this division's must watch. Every game this division puts out, it's must watch. Or Red Zone better be heavily watching that game. That's definitely 100%.
I'm saving my money for the YouTube Sunday ticket. I'm saving my money.
Already got it.
But you gotta also pay.
I got mine.
Got mine too. Yeah. Okay. One more great question from the
Already
panel.
on
You
lock.
gotta take your YouTube then.
Mark says, I think success is tied up in the offensive line. I think we can all agree on that. Who in this division, they want to know who has the best offensive line?
Cleveland.
The Browns.
And we should. We've spent like
It's the Browns.
15% of our cap on
It's
our
the
offensive
Browns.
line. They better be good.
And they have the best
15%
running
of the
back
cap
on
on
top
it.
of that.
Yeah, you're right. Cleveland.
Having having the best offensive line coach in the league does help too. I'll
Right,
say that.
absolutely.
I'm still mad about that. We were supposed to have him in Cincinnati with his son. I can't believe we passed on him for Jim Turner. Like, let's keep Jim Turner and let the best offensive line coach in the league go to Cleveland.
Oh my gosh. All right. So we got the Steelers at 13 wins. How many wins, Ace, you think the Bengals are getting this season? I know it's way early, but
I mean, it's tough because last year we went on that streak and won 10 straight last year. I think they probably get at least 12 wins this season. I think at least 12.
That's fair.
You guys had the Super Bowl hangover for sure.
Yeah.
I love that conversation last year.
What about the Browns? Said the Browns are going to surprise. So
I think they're going to be at 10-7, and I do think that gets them a wild card spot. I think 10-7 is very realistic. It's a lot of fans think we can win the division, and I do think we can win the division. Like, it wouldn't surprise me, but I'm also just realistic. I just think You get a playoff spot this year, the first full year with Deshaun Watson, and then build on that for 2024 when then they build this roster a little bit more, and then they win the division in 2024. But I think 10-7 this year, and then the Browns get a wild card spot.
All right. Interesting, Trey. What about the Ravens?
So this team, and look, my guy's got his contract. He's got his money now. A rejuvenated Lamar Jackson, a dog, by the way. 14 wins. I think this team is capable of going 14-3. And I want to be clear about something too, because we're talking about schedules and stuff. It is.
Are you that bold?
But
Did we not
looking
have
at the
14
schedule,
wins back in
what's that?
2019?
I agree. I'm not saying taking it away that. I'm
We
just
definitely
saying
did.
that's a.
Oh, you definitely did, Danny. All right, Trey. Go ahead. Give it to us.
Well, no, I was gonna say everyone. It wouldn't surprise me if all these teams got playoff spots. We're playing the AFC South this year,
Yeah, exactly.
And so
exactly.
nobody really
there
expects a lot out of the AFC South, and
Other than
so
the
you should
Jags,
be able to
so.
rack up wins against that division. Yeah, the Jags, I would say, are the favorite. But after that, there's really
Everybody
nothing
else
there.
is
You got a bunch
trash.
of rookies
Everybody
out
else
there.
is trash. Everybody else is trash.
No, I'm not saying
Yeah,
that.
you could go 3-1, 3-1, and you're.
I can't
sitting
say
there.
anyone's trash.
Yeah, you
No,
can.
you
I
can't
can.
talk.
Okay.
Come on. You
can't. You can't.
It's only
Not
relative.
Not yet.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying it right now. Colts, Texas Titans, trash. Only relative to professional sports. I'm not saying
Maestro,
obviously.
if you lose to one of those teams, bro, I'm gonna come
Yeah,
by this podcast.
And I be there and be like, oh, we was trash that game. I ain't got no problem. I ain't got
I
no
think that the
problem.
Ravens, I don't have a ceiling on the Ravens. I don't have a ceiling. The floor for me is 11-6, 12-5. I just don't have a ceiling. I'm not going to say where we can't go. I want us to go where no man has gone before. Star Trek. So I'm not putting a ceiling on them because I just think this could conceivably be one of the best teams offensively that the Ravens have had. We have that potential.
That's a
So
fact.
I'm super excited. So I'm not trying to put any ceiling on it. I'm just going to see. I'm not saying, that we're going to go perfect and not. I'm not saying it at all. But I'm just not putting the ceiling on it. But I think 11-6, 12-5 should be the base. I can't imagine that we would not get that many wins. I couldn't imagine that we would not.
Well, I can't wait. I mean, our chat is like lighting up tonight. I knew they would do this with the AFC North. I think everyone can agree. Our chat can agree, though. This is one of the divisions to watch. For a while, the NFC East, we were the laughing stock. And now that's become one of the divisions to watch. We sent 3 to the playoffs. I think our divisions are very similar in that way, where we beat the hell out of each other. And it comes down to
we all run the ball and play.
Yeah, at the end of the season, I think our fan bases are similar. We all have that delusional one. Steelers. For us, it's the Cowboys. Before I let you guys go, before Danny wraps us up, I do have to end it with my very informal poll. I'm trying to see something here. So if you watch a show, I ask everybody, if you have a delicious plate of chicken wings in front of you and you have a dipping sauce, are you going ranch, blue cheese, or something else?
Ranch.
Absolutely blue cheese.
Oh, ranch for sure.
Honestly,
Blue
nothing.
cheese.
Honestly, nothing. If you force me, I put blue cheese, but nothing.
Ranch is for kids, y'all. Come on.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Ranch.
I'm with Maestro. I'm with Maestro. None of those
I
two.
don't know how y'all eating that bitter blue cheese. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I am not a blue cheese fan at all.
Yeah, I think you getting
That's why it's always
there we go, Mark.
Or blue cheese.
Go,
they never lead with blue cheese. They lead with ranch.
So you ranch lovers.
Hold on, what you talking about? Applebee's or something?
They'd be like, do you want ranch or blue cheese? They don't never be like, do you want blue cheese or ranch?
All right, as long as you guys don't put ranch on your pizza. That's all we need to know. No ranch on pizza, right? Although I will say
ranch on her spaghetti though.
Yeah,
what? Yeah, we do, don't we?
Ashley Baker.
I tried.
She puts ranch.
Yep, Ashley Baker. Yep.
I tried it. She convinced me, and I tried it. It's an overrated experience.
My My
It's
Italian
over.
grandparents are just rolling in their graves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. I won't be going back to that. But I did try it.
That's a no-go. Although I will
Oh my
say,
god! I just
will
vomited
say,
in my mouth.
there is nothing like a
Pause.
Maryland
Pause.
crab cake. Nothing like a Maryland crab cake.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys that.
Amen
all
to
day.
that. Amen to that.
Facts.
All day, every day. Well, listen, thank you guys so much. Danny will wrap us up and get us out of here, but I want to just personally thank you guys. I know it's a lot to ask everyone. You're busy. You all have your own shows to come, take an hour of your time and chat with us. I'm so looking forward to working together more as the season goes on. Part of this is so that we can have, permanent panels or a fantasy show, betting show, around the league show. I think this panel is great. We hope to have you guys on mid-season fight, end of the season fight. We love it. Obviously, our audience loved you guys. So thank you so much. I hope to work with you guys individually more in the future. Barbershop, it's been too long, so I got to get on your show and we'll do some things. So Danny, take us out, please.
By the way, thank you for everybody for coming on. Once again, this is Rush Hour. Please like, subscribe, all the fun stuff on social media. Mondays, we have Giants Rush, and then on Wednesday nights, as you're watching, Rush Hour. So once again, thanks for checking us out. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
All right, we'll see you next week, guys.
Bye.
We're out. Good night,
Bye.
and thank you so much. Till next Wednesday.
Go Ravens.
Go Browns.
Here we go.